All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live!
They want it. They wanted it.
And when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. Go get it.
That's a different tier right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
Three. No one's ever got three. I want that because I can pass.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. Touchdown, Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Let's go! Do it live! You gotta fight for your right to fight!
It'll get handled when it gets handled.
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would, real quick, before you forget, if you wouldn't mind, make sure you click and tap that like and click or tap that subscribe. Tell some friends, tell some family members, tell some Chiefs fans. Help spread the word. We'd sure appreciate it. Looking like the show and the chat's filling up already. It looks like I see Laney and Big Doug. Our man Nico's in the house. Good to see you. Hope you've been doing well. Haven't seen our man Nico in a while. Hope things are going good there. We're going to be rolling out a pretty good show for everybody tonight. Not a whole lot of news since last week, but the draft is 1 week closer. We're seeing some names and some things come out. I don't know how much stock you can put into that. Teams aren't leaking information and hurting themselves, right, or their strategy ahead of the draft. But we'll talk a little draft before we really dig into that next week. Some Vegas lines are out there for some over-unders. We'll talk about that. I think there's a new kickoff rule. We'll talk about that. Anything you got a question about, anything you want to talk about, make sure you throw it up there in the chat. We're not going to have Bo with us tonight, so it's just us, our two ugly mugs here. Do our best to entertain without Bo before we get into the show. Nick, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. We're just spring is in full swing. We got to watch a pretty big event in the sporting world take place over the weekend at the Masters. Helped Big Doug and Laney do some housework, some repair work to their home, and I'm doing good, man.
Good, yeah. It's definitely spring here. I'm back to mowing grass once a week and that whole thing and trying to time it up with the rain. It's always fun. Nico's predicting Browns Chiefs AFC Championship game. Those are the kind of takes I expect from our man Nico.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'd sign up for that right now. Absolutely. Well, a little discrepancy. We talked about over-unders. We'll just get into that first here, I guess, while we got our man Nico here. The Chiefs win total in Vegas right now, pretty much most, or if not all books, are 11.5 wins. 12.5 would have been a little bit more interesting, maybe, of a line. I want to say the Chiefs have won 12 or more games 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6 years. A couple of years ago, the Super Bowl year, that they went 11-6. Was that what it was, or was it 11-5 still at that point? I can't remember exactly, but it's a healthy number. 12-5 or better. That team was 15-2 last year.
Right.
Make sure you put in the chat where you think your team's at. Nico's Browns are 5.5, so I'm guessing Nick's going to be betting the over on 5.5 if they're going to play in the AFC Championship game and make the playoffs. Nick, 11.5. If you were going to throw some of your hard-earned dough down on that, which side are you taking?
Yeah, look, I'd hammer the over. I think that. I mean, has Patrick ever won less than 11 games? Maybe one time. Was it?
I want to say that one year they were 10-6. Is that right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 1 year, right? I mean,
Well, it would have
but
been
you got to
10
get to 11. I
10
mean,
and 7,
11's
right?
still 11's still a loser.
Yeah. Yeah.
11
Look,
and a half,
I
so.
just the team. I mean, everybody said they weren't even really that good last year, and they only lost that second game because they sat their starters because they were 15-1. And so I just think that, I just think it's silly to not take the over given the recent history of the team.
The worst 15-2 team ever to play for a three-peat in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I would. I would bet the over. I don't really gamble on sports, so I would take the over on 11.5. You figure maybe there's a little regression this year. It's hard to go 15-2 every year, right? But I mean, even if you slipped down to 13-4, 12-5, you're still on the winning side on the over at 11.5 there. So I'd hit that over as well. It looks like, man, Kevin's in the house. Yeah, Kevin, I've seen the AFC West prognosticators. Some people saying the Broncos are going to jump up this year. Maybe the Chargers are passing the torch to the Broncos as the offseason team that people are going to pick to win the division. Chiefs have won the AFC West 9 years in a row. I don't understand, I guess, Chiefs fatigue. Same thing we saw last year with the three-peat and everybody rooting against the Chiefs. Teams won the division 9 years in a row. I don't know why you would pick any other team other than that one, especially with the core players still coming back and Patrick Mahomes as the leader there, and got to be one of the MVP favorites this year. So Chiefs, I mean, they got a somewhat tough schedule, it looks like, although it's hard to say because some teams are good that you don't think are going to be good, and some teams are bad and that you don't think are going to be bad. There's always flux with NFL teams and records year to year, but the one thing you can pretty much count on is the Chiefs winning 11 or 12 games every year or more. So, John C., I'll sign up 10 straight. Nico's talking about the Patriots in here. Yeah, no, there's definitely like a experience factor and a pedigree factor, right? You're talking about a team that might not be the best talented, but you get the right coach, you get the right quarterback, and you get the right system, and like success breeds success. So, how strongly would you feel? I mean, you said you'd hammer the over. I mean, where are you at? 80, 90, 95% on the Chiefs winning more than 11
90
games
to 95%, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't pick them to win less than 13 games. You got Patrick Mahomes in his prime. You've got Hollywood Brown. You've got Xavier Worthy coming into his rookie season. It's looking like the offense is going to be heating up this upcoming season. We'll see what happens with Rashee Rice and his comeback from injury and potential legal stuff looming. But I just feel like, the Chiefs kind of get to come into this year now with a chip on their shoulder, right? Something to prove is where maybe last year they were coming in off of back-to-back Super Bowl wins, and now it's like, all right, so like we got embarrassed on the biggest stage, with history on the line. We went from, literally, like, sports media is fickle, right? But they went from like, is Patrick Mahomes going to be the greatest quarterback ever to like kind of like was the dynasty real in like one game, right? And they like want to prove, that that they're still the team to beat in the NFL, right? So like I think you'll see probably Bo Nix. My predictions don't typically fare well on this show, but the sophomore slump I think is real with quarterbacks. I think that he did well, but really it was their defense. And so can the Broncos repeat that? You saw, the Chargers fall apart in the playoffs there. And Justin Herbert just have a terrible game. So I just don't feel like all of a sudden he's going to pop and become the guy that everybody thinks he is. So I just can't see the Chiefs, not making it past the 11.5 games.
What do you mean? Is year 6 or 7 is not going to be the year Justin Herbert finally breaks through? And
Yeah, it's like Derek Carr, right? Next year.
The Broncos and Chargers were mirages last year, and we talked about that. They got exposed in the playoffs. If you take away the Week 18 win against the Chiefs by the Broncos, where the Chiefs played, I'm not even going to say the JV team. They played the C team out there, right? I want to say between the Broncos and the Chargers, they had 3 or 4 wins against winning teams all season combined. And 2 of those was the Chargers beating the Broncos. And then when they got into the playoffs against playoff competition, they got exposed and got bounced in the first round. So listen, here's the deal. Those 2 teams got a long ways to go to take out the Chiefs. I know everybody wants to make a big deal about the Broncos and this and that and Bo Nix or whatever, but they fattened up on a soft schedule. And you see teams do this all the time, right? Really bad record, play a 3rd or 4th place schedule, win a bunch of games against, bad competition. And then when you got to take that next step the next year, the teams fall back, right? And
Right.
So I don't know. Sean Payton, there was an interesting conversation on sports radio the other day. It was every coach in the AFC West now, John Harbaugh, I guess, doesn't have a Super Bowl, but he's been to a Super Bowl. Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl. Good old Cheat Carroll out there in Las Vegas now. He's got a Super Bowl ring. I'm not sold on the John Harbaugh thing, and I'm not sold on the Sean Payton thing either. Sean Payton, Drew Brees, I don't know where you rank Drew Brees, top 5 all-time NFL quarterbacks. Fair?
Statistically, he's definitely there.
Yeah. Top 5 quarterback all-time, and you won 1 Super Bowl with the guy. He underperformed with Drew Brees. So
went to 1.
Right. I feel like there's this idea that the AFC West is loaded now with quarterbacks and coaches. And we know what Justin Herbert is. He's shown that he's a guy that is going to pad, but make bad decisions and huge mistakes and critical points of the game. Bo Nix last year was decent, but again, against not the best competition, and then when they got in the playoffs, they got bounced by the Buffalo Bills easily as the 7th seed. The Broncos did. So there's our man Bo sitting in traffic. Yeah, Bo, that's a good point. I was going to bring that up here. It seems like a lot of people that are down on the Chiefs they're almost comparing them to the Vikings from a couple years ago that won all these 1-score games, right? But then lost in the playoffs, which the Chiefs went back to the Super Bowl. But then the next year, that regressed back to the mean. The Chiefs in Patrick Mahomes' career are 2 or 2.5 to 1 winning percentage in 1-score games. This isn't some fluky thing where they got Kirk Cousins out there and they won 10 or 11 of 12 or 13 1-score games and then regress back to the mean. You have a large enough sample size that is not fool's gold. That's not a fluke, their record in 1-score games last year. So, Nick, what's your take? 1-score games. The Chiefs just like Nico said, you get to a point where it's just you just expect to win those games and you expect to be there at the end, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is they think, Harbaugh in year 2, Peyton and Nixon year 2 together, Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly are with the Raiders now. I think that they're looking at that and they're probably saying, hey, what's that going to do with the Chiefs? And I just think that they're overstating, right, what they think the division's going to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm just going off of history. I know last year there were some fluky wins there, but if you take, you'd have to take what, 4 wins away for them to get below that.
Right.
I don't know. I just really don't see it. Now, Bo also, to his credit, he's like, I'm still taking the over. That's probably where they got the number from.
Right.
So I just think that's, I don't know, the Chiefs downfall, right? It's coming next year. It's always next year, right?
Yeah, the Chiefs weren't some 7-10 or 8-9 or 9-18 that got lucky and won a bunch of one-score games one season. Patrick Mahomes has an insane record in one-score games for his career, which is not a small sample size at this point. So a lot of it's Chiefs fatigue. A lot of it is hot takes. A lot of it is people just not stepping back and looking at the big picture. I mean, the guy's playing the AFC Championship game every year. But now this is the year that he's going to fall back because Sean Payton and them are in the division and Bo Nix. Geno Smith's a better quarterback than Bo Nix, right? And hit the Raiders. I mean, if we're being honest. Bo Nix, obviously being a rookie, but has not accomplished. I mean, Geno Smith has led the NFL or been top 2 and 3 in passing. Now, that was with DK Metcalf and younger Tyler Lockett. We'll see what he does out there in Las Vegas with maybe not as strong a supporting cast and a little bit more mileage on the motor there. But, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I would pick the Chiefs to win over 11.5 games. They're the favorite in the AFC West. They're the favorite in the AFC, right? I mean, them and the Bills are both right there at that 11.5 win total. What do you think about the Bills? And are you taking over 11.5 for them next year?
Yeah, I mean, their division doesn't appear to be in a good spot, right?
No.
I don't think the Dolphins. I mean, I think that you're starting to see the wheels come off with the Dolphins and
talking about trying to trade Jalen Ramsey now.
yeah. It's just I don't think that I think that they were like a fun story, but ultimately their window, I think, of where they could have done something is past. I mean, the Jets, dude, they're in a total mess, right? So the Patriots, I don't think the Patriots are going anywhere. So I think 11.5 is low for the Bills. I mean, I think it's gonna be the 4 quarterbacks that have always been competing for the last few years are going to continue to do that, and it's going to be between the Bills and the Chiefs, and probably the Ravens and the Bengals. I mean, I think that those are the teams that you're going to see. As long as those quarterbacks are able to compete, you're going to see those guys getting there at the top. The good news for us is 2 of those guys are in the same division, right? So so one of them's got to be a wild card team, and if they make it, I know the Bengals didn't make it last year, but I don't think you're going to see Joe Burrow miss the playoffs more than he makes the playoffs. So
yeah, he's on his. I mean, if you go with his track record, like every other year being injured, this would be the year where he misses some time with injury.
Yeah, maybe.
Definitely not wishing that on the guy at all. They also have broke the bank on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, ignoring the defense, which was their downfall and their undoing last year. Trey Hendrickson's looking like he might get traded out of there. That's probably their best defensive player. That ain't going to help the defense get any better from last year.
Yeah.
I think you got to look at the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Statistically speaking, probably should have been the MVP over Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes should have been the MVP for what he did and the record they had over both of those guys. But it's which quarterback has the best stats award at this point. And so unless it's
bad for somebody,
unless you feel, I was about to put that caveat, like the asterisk on there, right? Unless we feel bad for someone because they've never won anything. And then we all know how that went down.
Never worked for Drew Brees, but
never worked for Drew Brees. Josh Allen lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs again in the playoffs. The MVP, Josh Allen. That's 4 straight times, right? Not 4 years in a row, but
person to ever do that.
4 times in a row, losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs, twice in the championship game with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. Well, the Bills got to be wondering, like, when's this going to happen for them? So
Right.
I think it's a 3-horse race in the AFC next year. I think it's the Chiefs. I think it's the Bills, and it's the Ravens. And if you're the Chiefs, you want to get out and get the best record you can, rack up those wins, and get that 1 seed and avoid doing what they were able to do last year, right? But the Bills and Ravens weren't able to do last year. 2 years ago, the Chiefs took down the Bills and the Ravens in the playoffs, being the 3 seed. You don't want to be in that position too often, though, right? You want to be that 1 seed, and you want to let the other ones slog it out and have to take down one of them. Like last year, the Bills took down the Ravens and then came here and got beat by the Chiefs. So,
Man, hey, everybody listening to this, past, present, future, whatever, find someone that believes in you like Nico believes in the Browns.
right. Who's the Browns quarterback? I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for the Browns this year.
Yeah, Watson, he's out, right?
They've got Russell Wilson, and did they bring Joe Flacco back? Is that, I'm trying to think.
That's what he was saying. Yeah, he said that they got Flacco. So he said he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns to both teams. So
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I think you're in for a long year again, Nico. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer to break the bad news to you, but the Browns are in rebuild mode. They got the 2nd pick, right? Do they take? I see people talking about taking Travis Hunter, which I guess we can just kind of segue this into the draft a little bit, right?
mhm.
People talking about taking Travis Hunter, number 2 overall, to the Browns in the draft. Travis Hunter, supremely talented player, played a ton of snaps in both sides of the ball, right?
Mhm.
But is he going to play both sides of the ball in the NFL? He's saying that he won't play if a team won't let him play both positions. I don't see how you could have the stamina and handle the physicality of the NFL playing 80% of the snaps in the game, playing offense and defense, man. I just don't see that. Do they take Shador at number 2? Do they take Jackson Dart? They're in that unfortunate position picking 2 where there's only one clear-cut quarterback prospect that the Titans are going to take. So, Nick, they reach and take a Shador Sanders, or I mean, what do you think?
I think it's a reach if you take Shador Sanders at 2. Travis Hunter, like, look, I think it's like you got to look at the program he came out of, and he's playing for the guy that did play, offense and defense in the NFL. And I think Dion did the Iron Man game. Didn't he do an Iron Man game where he played like 100 plays in one game? The guy, it was 2-sport athlete, right? So like, I just, so I think that's where some of this is coming from. But as soon as they say, okay, well, we won't take you, and then once you slip, and you go down the line, like, it's going to affect how much your potential earnings and stuff are. He'll be like, nah, I mean, I'm flexible. I mean, I don't know. You don't just enter the transfer portal in the NFL. You know what I mean? If like it doesn't go the way you want it to go, it's not how it works. So
yeah, and the Browns are paying 40% of their cap to Deshaun Watson and Myles Garrett, and Deshaun Watson is not going to play again this year due to injury. I think his career is over at this point, but I don't know. I mean, this isn't like dog pound live, so I don't want to get too in the weeds about the Browns. Nico, who do the Browns take number 2 overall, and who would you take?
Saying he likes
the same player.
He likes Hunter a lot. Said we're also going to get either get Carter.
Can you stay sharp playing like as a situational cornerback, like just playing cornerback part-time, can you like stay sharp enough to play that position playing it part-time? I just don't at the NFL level, man. Like there's a big difference between the Big 12 and the National Football League. So
Right.
Nick's saying he would take Carter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the Shedeur Sanders thing working out in the NFL personally. I just don't think the guy is going to be the next big thing. I could obviously be wrong. I've been wrong before when we're talking about quarterback prospects, but we'll see. The draft coming up here. It's next week, right? Next Thursday. Starts.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Titletown, Green Bay. Pretty much seems like it's settled that the Chiefs are going to be going some sort of line if they even stay in the first round. Nick, how are you feeling about the draft next week? Like, how critical of a draft is this for the Chiefs? Do they go line? I mean, I think that was kind of your take last week. Why was you thought they were going to go probably defensive line or something in the first round?
Yeah, look, you can see my tag this week is draft 7 O linemen. I mean,
I don't know about that strategy. But
that's obviously hyperbole, but I was thinking about this, and it's like, do you feel confident that Patrick Mahomes could win a Super Bowl with less than good defense, right?
Right.
Do you? Yeah. How do you feel if he has like a subpar wide receiving core? You feel like he could win a Super Bowl? What about like a running back? Yeah. How about like if he has a bad O-line? Do you feel good about him winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
So just draft like a shitload of offensive linemen, man. Just like get this thing worked out, and you're gonna be okay. Like that's just where my mind's at. I mean, I feel like we've got a lot of other pieces in place. Look, I would like to see. I mean, if there was like a viable Travis Kelce replacement on the board, right? Because we know that Kelce is not going to be here. I think that getting a tight end would be good. I mean, you've seen that Mahomes really likes that, having that big bodied outlet. And we could get somebody. I know that we've got Noah Gray and we've re-signed him, but I mean, he's had time and he hasn't really kind of developed into like a Travis Kelce level player. I think he's a good number 2 tight end, but I don't think he's ever going to be like a legit number 1 receiving tight end. So, if we could do that, I could see that mid rounds, maybe, getting running back, but yeah, offensive line. I mean, I just really like look and I'm like, dude, like that's just really the only thing that can derail this team is not giving Patrick time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He's not, when he's not comfortable, he just doesn't play the same.
Yeah. I mean, that's every quarterback in the NFL too, right?
For sure.
He can make, I mean, we've seen him make do in his elusiveness, although he's getting to the point in his career, like numbers of years played wise, where that's going to start at some point falling off. So yeah, it's becoming increasingly more and more important that they get the line taken care of as Patrick gets a little bit older, maybe a little less mobile. I'm not saying that that's like the case this year coming up, but this is year 8 for him. He's not first year Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean,
right.
8 years older takes a little bit of a toll on everybody. I'm not saying he's to be like a statue back there and he's lost his ability to scramble around and make plays, but every year that goes by, it becomes more and more important to make life easier on him. I think you see the Chiefs do that. I mean, I think they take linemen. It's just right now, like, unfortunately for them, their biggest question mark is on the line is left tackle, which is really hard to address in the draft if you're not picking in that top 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 picks. When you're picking 30, it's really difficult to get you.
I mean, you either got to sign somebody, which I know they signed a backup.
They brought in Jalen Moore,
49ers, right?
Yep.
Or it's a numbers game. Yeah. You got to get enough guys in there that you probably hit on one. That's
right.
The joke. I don't think they're going to draft 3 offensive linemen. I mean, in the drafts, but I mean, maybe they should. I mean, I just don't.
A couple.
A couple.
Joe
right?
Tooney's gone. I mean, they're going to be moving Kingsley into guard. I mean, can he play guard any better than he played tackle? I don't know.
I mean, it'd be hard to play worse.
It'd be hard to play worse, but it could be just as bad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I definitely think they're going to address the line, and you're going to see them pick some guys up. I just think you can get those guys. Like, if you're looking, they're good at center. Maybe if you're looking for guard, maybe you pick up a guy in the third round or something, second or third round. You can maybe get a running back. I'm still team skill position player. Like, get yourself a really good wide receiver or something in the first round. Look, I mean, guys get hurt. Hollywood Brown, we talk about him being back, but he missed all of last year with an injury, basically.
Sure.
So the Rashee Rice situation, who knows? I mean, I know he's coming along well in the rehab process from injury last year, but expecting him with also the legal situation and a suspension looming, I think expecting him to be there week one and count on him, I think that's risky business. So you get Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy maybe can step up. We saw him really blossom towards the end of the year last year and in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. Get him some help right there in the wide receiver room. I agree. If there's like a stud tight end there still left, not sure if a guy like that falls that later night. And we'll kind of break down more like in detail the draft. It'll be draft eve. Next week's show, Wednesday night, the night before the draft starts in Green Bay. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing, but I just don't see a left tackle falling to them in that first round. And I don't think you pick like a guard. You don't need a center because you got Creed Humphrey locked down. I just don't see you taking a guard in the first round. So, but I mean, if they need running back, if they're wanting to get some playmaker there, if you take a second or third or fourth round guy there, that's one less middle round pick that you've got to get you a lineman. But I mean, I think you see one or two guys probably in the offensive line in the draft. But like I said, we'll do some research, and when you get like closer to the draft, things change so much. And there's a story saying the Chiefs might be looking to trade with the Minnesota Vikings. I just don't know how much you can read into like these stories, right? Like, oh, the beat writer for the Vikings said that the Chiefs may be a team, and the Chiefs are not leaking out like their strategy for the draft the week before the draft. You don't want teams to know what you want, because then that puts you in a vulnerable position or gives the leverage, right? You lose some leverage.
Yeah, there's ulterior motives for any news that's being put out there, right?
Yeah.
Things are being allowed to leak so that, they can get what they actually want.
Right.
So.
Throw somebody off the scent, right? Or maybe a little misdirection or something there. So, but yeah, draft is next week. I mean, that's outside of like the regular season. The draft that's the biggest off-season event, right? I mean, free agency maybe.
Yeah.
Opening that first week or so. I mean, what do you think of the draft, Nick? I mean, is it that like the top off-season event?
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest thing going in the off season. I mean, you've got, free agency and all that stuff, but I mean, the draft is
training camp.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody, because it gives like every team hope, right? I mean, every team gets excited. The teams that didn't do well last year, right? They get to go first, right? So they kind of get like a moment to shine. And they get to, like have hope that like the guys that they got early in the first round and stuff like. So I definitely think that it's a big event, because a lot of these other things that happen are, like specific to like one team, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, and even the combine is more just like kind of like the appetizer, right? For the drafts. Cause it's like, it's like looking and seeing how people do and where they might move on the board. So, it's definitely the premier thing that they do in between seasons.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin was talking about the Chiefs maybe needing or looking at safety. That could definitely be a pick. I mean, they've let Justin Reed go. I think they really like the rookie from last year, Jaden Hicks. I think they're expecting big things from him, and he's going to step up. They brought back Mike Edwards after a year away from the team. So got a veteran presence, a guy that's familiar with Spags and the secondary and the defense, the scheme there coming back. So I think that should help. It doesn't sound like he's a big fan of Brian Cook. I'm not going to pretend to know enough about safety play to know if Brian Cook is really a bust or not. I mean, I see the guy making plays and I also see him getting beat, but I don't know how much of that is necessarily his fault. Nick, secondary, I mean, is that a area maybe the Chiefs should be looking at with guys leaving?
Yeah, I mean, not only because of that number 2 corner, but also, are they going to – I mean, they haven't signed Trent McDuffie, right? So, are they going to give him the type of contract that he's going to demand? Right. And if not, then this is the year you got to draft the guy that's going to replace him, like we drafted him kind of to replace Snead. So, yeah, I could see them definitely going there. I mean, corner's kind of like one of those positions though, where your top guys they go fast too, right? So you're taking a flyer. I know we jumped up to get McDuffie late in the first round, but I would say that your odds of success later in the first round and in the second round and beyond for cornerbacks is spotty at best, right? So yeah,
Trent McDuffie, the Chiefs trading up and getting him. I realize that things like the butterfly effect, right? If the Chiefs don't jump up and get him, the idea that everything would have still happened the way it has since then. But man, how lucky is that dude that they jumped up ahead of the Bills and got him? Right. He plays in back-to-back Super Bowls instead of going home on the Bills every year, losing to the Chiefs. I talk about just a stroke of fortune for that young man. The Chiefs to jump up and swoop him, because I think everybody was pretty confident, and it's out there. There's Maria. Good to see you, Maria. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen how your Padres are doing. I know Maria's a big baseball fan, so hopefully they're doing better than the Royals been doing here lately, man. It's plodding along and it's terrible offense. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know, the draft next week. We'll talk a lot more about the draft on next Wednesday's show. It'll be draft eve. Maybe we'll put our official predictions on the player we think Chiefs take in the first round. I think they go running back at some point too. I know Isaiah Pacheco is a very popular player, and I know he came back from injury last year and maybe rushed it back. I think Andy Reid has said something about that a little bit. So, yeah, it's just they don't have a whole lot of need though, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot of holes that they really got to fill going into the draft, which makes drafting a little bit easier. You can maybe try to not have to hit on 5 or 6 of your picks, right? I mean, you can get a couple guys that can come in and be contributors. So, I don't know. Any other Chiefs news, Nick, you've seen this week that we missed?
No, I mean, we're kind of in that lull, right? I mean, once we have the draft, then things start to pick up, and you get it's not that long after the draft before you start hitting OTAs and camp and all that. But I mean, it's been quiet. I mean, there's a little bit of, stadium chatter that, about what are the Chiefs going to do? Are they going to go to Kansas? Are they going to stay at Arrowhead and renovate it? I mean, what's happening with Jackson County? But I mean, I think that all of that there's not a lot of actual news there. That's just all kind of, speculation at this point. So not really, dude. It's quiet. It's a quiet time of year for football.
Right.
So John C's asking, the draft is a week from tomorrow, right?
Next Thursday, yeah. The 23rd, is that the 23rd? 24th? The 20th is Sunday for Easter, so 21, 22, 24th. I'm not trying to defend Brian Cook. I don't know enough about safety play. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know when a guy is really good, like when you get a guy like a Tyrann Mathieu or Justin Reed was I don't want to say like a top 5 safety in the NFL, but he was a really good player. So I just don't know enough about Cook to really say whether he's a bust or not. But yeah, injuries, we see that, right? I mean, you guys, sometimes you come back as good or better. Sometimes you come back and you're not as good, and injuries derail your career. So that's going to be tough to, for me anyway, to grade Brian Cook is a safety. I mean, he's still on the team. They're still playing him, so they must like something about him. But they also drafted. I think Jaden Hicks they're counting on him to be like the Justin Reed, right?
Guy, yeah,
he's and he played well, and he made good plays, and the guy's got good hands. He had 2 or 3 interceptions last year, which I wasn't jumping routes to get the interceptions, but hey, he caught the ball and hit him in the hands, which is a lot more you can say for a lot of defensive backs and safeties.
there's a reason they play defense, right?
All right, there's a reason you play defense. So, yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday. We'll hopefully have Big Bad Bo with us next Wednesday. We'll break down the draft a little bit. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or anything they want to talk about, anything we missed, throw it up here in the chat. A little bit of a slow week. There was that story that came out about was one of the guys in the NFL. I can't think of his name now. He was kind of like putting some water on that fire of the Chiefs playing every year on Christmas, which I thought was interesting.
I didn't see that.
Was saying, well, it took a long time to build those traditions, and we've rolled in different teams on these Black Friday games and the third Thanksgiving game. We haven't assigned that to one team, and we've traditionally rolled different teams through the Christmas Day thing. So maybe that's not a lock. I thought it was a lock the way they were talking about it, and
Yeah,
it comes out that Clark Hunt is asked to be the team, and he doesn't get it. That seems
it's lame.
still a little far fetched for me,
Right. Well, I've got something. So for achievements, like where do you rank that career Grand Slam that Rory McIlroy completed when he won the Masters this week? Like, I mean, you've got, I don't know, it's kind of hard to compare, I guess, but like you've got quarterbacks that have won kind of back-to-back Super Bowls, right? I mean, I think that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
You've got, I mean,
I think you got to look at it as in terms of like individual sports accomplishments, as of like I suppose like team sports. Maybe it's like up there with like the tennis Grand Slam or something, or these guys that like Wimbledon's or whatever in the U.S. Open. I know Rafael Nadal's won like 10 French Opens or something crazy like that. It's a hell of a. I mean, I was surprised when they said he was only the 6th player to ever do it. I realize their majors in golf is an extremely difficult game, right? And I mean, you're talking about at any given point, there's only like how many guys are on the PGA Tour at any given point?
125, I think.
Right, 120 players. I mean, there's 1,200 NFL players, and you're talking about the top 120 people in the entire world, right, to get on the tour. Extremely difficult, but I've never really cared for Rory McIlroy all that much. Man, I'm not like a huge golf fan, but I followed a little bit. I know people that are into it. I know Big Doug's a big golf fan, so I've always kind of thought he was arrogant and kind of a jerk. But as far as like winning anytime you do something that only 5 people before you had ever done in the history. And it's not like they started playing golf 40 years ago. I mean, you're talking about golf. It's been around for a long ass time, and it's a world's game, right? I mean, he's Irish, right? You watch these golf tournaments, you watch the leaderboard, and they put the flag of the country that his players are up, man, and you start seeing a ton of different flags. So, as far as individual sports go, I mean, it's got to be up in there like top 2 or 3 like accomplishments as far as. It's hard for me to maybe baseball, right? I mean, you're talking about and that's a team sport, but like an individual hitter, right? So
yeah, like the Triple Crown, maybe.
Right. Like I don't know how many people have won the Triple Crown, but I mean it's up there. I mean, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the amount of guys that are on the tour, and that it's only happened, 6 times in history over the last however many years since the Masters became a major, right? That's pretty incredible. I personally think the greatest for like individual sports, I think the greatest achievement was when Alex Arnold free soloed El Capitan. I mean, I think that it's like not only was that an extremely difficult mountain to do it, right? But like you add the fact that like if you screw up, like you're definitely just dead.
Right.
So I mean, I've watched that movie a few times, and it's like I get nervous. I know he makes it because I've seen it.
Right.
Spoiler alert! But like every time like he does that karate kick thing, like I'm like still nervous that he's gonna fall. Like so I put that. I think if you're looking at like individual sporting achievements, I put that right there towards the top. But yeah, Masters like or the career Grand Slam. I mean, it's probably I mean, you got these guys maybe in the NFL that like had, I think it was at one point like didn't Drew Brees and Dan Marino and Tom Brady, and didn't they all have like where they had like the most career passing yards and the most career touchdowns? I mean, I think maybe because of the difficulty of the NFL and how hard it is on your body, I would maybe put that like third below that, right? But yeah, those are kind of like, I mean, it's just an incredible achievement, to do that, and it's cool. Like, there's these times where you're watching sports, right, and you're like, man, I just watched something like historic, It's like when Cal Ripken Jr. broke, I think it was Lou Gehrig's
the Iron Man thing,
right? Like, so there's these times in sports where you see something, it's just like, it's kind of like, man, like that's something that like I will remember when it, that I saw that happen. But I just thought I'd ask you where you put that. I mean, I know you're not a big golf fan, neither am I.
No.
But
yeah, I know. I mean, like I said, anytime you do something that only 5 people have done before you,
right?
I was really surprised that. I mean, I get that they're major championships and how difficult of a sport golf is, but like you only got to win 4 different tournaments like your entire career. These guys play golf. It's not like football where maybe that just speaks to how insanely difficult it actually is to do, right?
Yeah.
Might be a bad comparison. It just popped into my head when we started talking about individual accomplishments. I mean, what's more impressive, Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal record or Rory becoming the 6th person?
I think Ovechkin, right? I mean, that's
more
probably
goals than anybody in history, especially Wayne
I didn't
Gretzky.
think anybody was ever going to break Wayne Gretzky's record.
Right. Wayne Gretzky is a dude. It's like there's all these debates in these different sports about who's the GOAT and who's this, that. There was like no debate about who the greatest hockey player of all time was, right? It was Wayne Gretzky.
So, but they you probably compare that more. That's more like akin maybe to Jack Nicklaus, his major championship wins, right?
Yeah.
Like I think there was a time where people were like, yeah, Tiger Woods is definitely going to do it, and like didn't happen,
Yeah.
Like how many, dude? Like Jack Nicklaus won an insane amount.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky was no doubt the best
Jack
of all,
Nicklaus
the greatest.
won 18 majors.
Right.
And Tiger, he won 15.
Right.
Now he's still technically not retired, I guess, but I don't know that you're going to see Tiger win 3 more majors in his career.
No, I don't think so. Maybe impressive trophy case having all those fucking trophies in your house.
Right.
Do you keep them all? Do you give some away to friends and family? Do you sell some? I mean, I still. Pretty crazy. I don't know what. Yeah, the Tiger thing was like, like you said, was on track to be the greatest, right?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was gonna eclipse. Like, I mean, there's just like, oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it faster, and then car
personal,
accident.
the personal stuff, right? The whole situation with the wife and that accident where he ran into the tree and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty crazy, man. I don't know.
It's wild.
He fell off quick. I mean, you see that though sometimes with athletes, man. I mean, when it goes fast. So you saw Peyton Manning, you saw it with a lot of athletes. So, but cool. Well, I think probably just bounce up on out of here, right?
Yeah, man.
It's good seeing everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday, and hopefully there'll be some more Chiefs news to talk about. The draft being right around the corner is kind of kickstarts like the next season, right? Like you get the draft picks in there, and then you see when they sign or whatever. So, yeah, really appreciate everybody. Yeah, Laney's talking about Tiger there. Talk about a dude that like has like a complete secret life, right? I mean,
Right.
like how can you be that famous and in the spotlight and like you're gonna be the greatest golfer of all time, and then you got all that shit going on in the background and no one had any idea. Like, and then it gets exposed, man. Good to keep it a secret, no doubt. But really appreciate everybody jumping here in the chat. Really good seeing everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday. We'll talk more draft in depth and maybe give some of our picks and where we think the Chiefs go and drop some names. We won't do mock drafts, though, I promise. No mock drafts on Chiefs Kingdom Live. If that's your thing, there's plenty of other resources to get mock drafts. And some guy in his mom's basement trading out of the first round and picking up a couple extra third-round picks. Like, people that get into that thing, man, to me is so wild. Like, I don't know. I don't understand it. But no mock drafts here. There's plenty of mock drafts out there, though, if that's your thing. We'll be back next Wednesday to break down this NFL draft. Until then, let's go Chiefs.
All right, let's go Chiefs.